discussion.
Why?
Gee, I wonder why. Owen, this is cutting edge stuff. I mean, people want to invest in so many different stocks and assets and things all the time, and you've tapped into a real South African need. Tell us or take us back to that moment where the penny dropped that this is what I need to do.
I'm a solutions person. I'm like 1 + 1 must be equal to 2. So if we've got resources and we've got problems, we must find the middle ground and create a solution. So I just, every year we see kids going to the street and they're doing for various things, and accommodation is one of them. For me, it didn't make sense why, for decades that's continued to be the case. And I say, but surely the government has cash or private capital has got money to put into the asset class. So let me investigate this. I got myself into, this researching pattern of looking deeper into local and offshore student accommodation issues. And I discovered that there is a big gap in South Africa for student housing, which is estimated to be anything between 200 and 300,000 beds that are appropriately priced, that are close to the university, that needed to be built.
For us, though, as a board, we'll be dealing with the issues of corporate governance. Obviously, when the investment opportunity comes, it's going to come through the Chief Investment Officer and the Executive Chairman, CEO. It will be submitted to the Investment Committee. Investment Committee is going to appropriately grill those to see that it stands actually the master of the returns on the investment which are expected, and then it will be submitted to the board, and the board will apply its mind, which would actually be a third card. So it's the executives, it's the investment committee, and then the board. After that, for us, we'll be saying again, let's be guided by the investment targets, the impact targets. Are we achieving those?
Of course, one is guided by you do form preconceived kind of ideas of where you should look. So obviously you start there. But it definitely, and this is where I think it's really wonderful that we as executives have an investment committee and we have a board, because if our own, biases drive us to look towards a certain area or a certain university or a certain type of accommodation, they will be there to say to us, no, but you haven't investigated this area, and we've heard that this particular opportunity is something that you should look at.
I think it's true that the challenge of purpose-built student accommodation is not just a South African issue, and I think it's pretty prevalent in the US, it's very prevalent in the UK and Australia itself, and those are the markets that maybe we've had a bit more access in terms of avenues of investment, and I'm sure it's true across many countries.
The issue was not necessarily a lack of accommodation at first, but then when I came in, there was a massive influx of black students who could not afford res. So what then happened is that a lot of the white lecturers would rent out their houses as digs, and that was the movement. Digs are not safe because there's no security guards. I did my next degree, my law degree at UKZN in Maritzburg, and there was a serious issue of private accommodation only ever being in the city of Pietermaritzburg and not close to Scottsville. And at the time, we dealt with a lot of rape issues, and we've continued to deal with those issues.